What will happen to me if I fail your test?
Let me ask you, how far are you willing to go to reclaim lost memories? This is Digits Rising, a PC-based futuristic action-adventure third-person shooter based on reclaiming lost memories. It all started in the year 2217, during one of the worst points in human history. World War IV was in its prime when extraterrestrial life invaded Earth without any warning. This event became known as the Incursion. With the planet already being ravaged from war, and the Earth's population diminished to a mere 1.2 billion, the world was virtually overrun in weeks. Just when everything seemed lost, everything changed. A company by the name of Triton Industries began to mass-produce entire robotic armies varying from simple humanoid droids to massive tank-like military assault droids. The invasion was repelled and a peace treaty was signed, but not before heavy damage was done to both sides. Triton Industries built thousands of facilities across the globe. Some of them were shelters for citizens, while others were research facilities and factories. Both the humans and the aliens learned to work together for the betterment of their species. The world experienced a rebirth, and Triton Industries was heralded as the savior of mankind. The world had never been more united than it is right now. But paradise couldn't last forever. The head researcher at Triton Tower number 2147, a woman by the name of Eve Anderson, believed that aliens were biding their time until they were powerful enough to wipe out the human race. She began an illegal program to mass-produce the ultimate soldier. These soldiers would not be mere humans or robots, but a hybrid, an enhanced android mixed with cloned human DNA to give it the mind and appearance of a human. Eve had tried hundreds of methods and variations to make the soldier perfect, but all failed. That is, until Clone 404 was made. She had enhanced strength, speed, intelligence, and was unstoppable as a soldier. The time came for the final test that would prove that Eve had made the ultimate soldier. She ordered Clone 404 to kill an innocent person. The clone refused and was shot in the head and disposed of. During the trials that led to her demise, Clone 404, later named Digit, had befriended a spider bot called Alloy. Alloy always followed her around, and when Digit was shot, he immediately sought to save his friend. Once Alloy located Digit's body, he repaired most of the damage. This is where the game begins. The player wakes up after being repaired by Alloy, but only remembers one thing: being killed. Together, Digit and the spider-bot Alloy will fight their way to the top of the tower in order to take revenge on Eve Anderson. As they ascend the tower, Digit will regain parts of her lost memories, revealing the truth behind what really happened before she was killed. The player starts with only an interactive holographic display, or IHD, on her left arm. The IHD handles everything the player needs to know, from ammo count to a map of the current level. The IHD will also serve as the game's menu system, allowing them to adjust settings or even leave the game. At the beginning, the player will not have any weapons, so they must use hand-to-hand combat to defeat enemies. The player will be able to acquire new weapons as the game progresses. One such weapon is the disc launcher that is capable of firing several different types of ammo. The first is a fog disc that will cover a large area. This will be a low-hanging fog that allows Digit to be concealed while she is crouching. The second type of ammo is the stasis disc. This disc uses energy to electrify the surrounding area, rendering any enemy with robotic parts useless in a 10-foot radius. This leaves the affected enemies vulnerable to all kinds of attacks. Last but not least, the player will be able to shoot Alloy himself from the disc launcher. When the player does this, the view will change from third person to Alloy's first person point of view. While playing as Alloy, the player will be able to use a multitude of abilities. The player will be able to spot enemies, which are then able to be seen through walls by both Alloy and Digit. Alloy will be able to shoot micro-EMP rounds that can disable computers, keyboards, enemy weapons, and even a small chance of destroying a single enemy if used correctly. Another ability the player will have is, while playing as Alloy, is being able to hack into doors and consoles in order to get necessary information or proceed to the next area. Once the player is done operating Alloy, he will automatically make his way back to Digit. Aside from just using the disc launcher, the player will be able to pick up and use weapons that have been dropped by enemies. A select few of these weapons are assault rifles, shotguns, and pistols. Each will have a unique playstyle that is advantageous to the situation. Assault rifles are great for eliminating large groups of enemies from a distance, whereas a shotgun or pistol may be used for a more enclosed environment. The player will run out of ammo very easily if they're not careful. They will have to gather ammo one of two ways. The first way is by simply picking up ammo from dead enemies. This is by far the easiest way, but it will only give you the basic types of ammo like pistols, shotguns, and rifles. The other way is to search around the level to find containers and ammo crates that will give you some of the more rare types of ammo, like fog, stasis, and EMP rounds. These crates are hidden throughout the level in secluded areas, so the player will have to actively search them out. The player's health will be handled in a similar manner, with small health packets being dropped by killed enemies, and larger health bonuses being found in crates and containers scattered throughout the level. This encourages the player to fight smarter instead of just hiding behind cover until they heal like most first-person shooters. This method will ensure that the action remains fast-paced, since the player will heal faster the more they kill. The game also features an aggressive player progression system that enhances Digit's core abilities by taking those of the bosses she defeats. One ability that Digit takes from a boss is a grappling cable. This cable is capable of rapidly pulling enemies closer to perform devastating finishing moves that will give the player bonus health as a reward. Another ability gained by defeating a boss is a dramatic upgrade in Digit's speed and awareness. This unique ability will allow her to run on walls and on ceilings for short durations, changing the way the player will overcome obstacles. By acquiring these and other abilities, the game will continuously evolve, adding difficulty and challenge for the player to master. The game's environment will reflect the changes that come with these new abilities as well. In addition to reflecting changes in mechanics, the art style and level design are heavily influenced by the story. Since the treaty between humans and aliens was signed, a small percentage of Earth's population is of alien origin, resulting in a mix of human and alien languages throughout the large cities of the planet. The cultures of these two species have mixed to form a new hybrid of culture that influences the art style and architecture, among other things. Most of the remaining cities have advanced technologies that allow for drones and vehicles to be airborne, making the skylines cluttered with traffic. Digit wakes up in the basement of Triton Tower, so the environment will be more run down and neglect part of the building. As the player ascends the tower, the levels will become more high-tech and pristine. Levels may consist of large testing areas as well as manufacturing facilities. This, in conjunction with the audio, helps immerse the player in the world of the game. One way the audio is utilized effectively is by alerting Alloy of any active electronics in the area. As the player moves Alloy around the level, a low-pitched hum can be heard if there are any electronics nearby that he can interact with. The sound will grow louder the closer he is to the power source. Another way sound plays an important role in the ability to use stealth. When a player is confronted by an enemy, they may choose one of two general ways to handle the situation. The first is quickly eliminate them by shooting or directly confronting the enemy. This will alert other nearby enemies to your position, and they will immediately attack you. The alternative is to kill them using hand-to-hand combat, which is much higher chance of going undetected by a surrounding enemy. This can be especially helpful if the player is low on ammunition or health. All these components fit together to make Digits Rising a fast-paced third-person shooter with a unique and thrilling storyline that will keep the player on the edge. As you fight your way through Titan Industries, you will learn what it means to take your revenge. So I'll ask you again, how far are you willing to go to reclaim your memory?